Hi guys. Okay, so we are starting the statistics unit, and don't tell the stats teachers. This is my least favorite unit out of all of them. I don't like stats. It's just not my thing. You know why? Look at how many words are on this page. I'm just kidding. Partially, not really. I just don't like it. Okay, a lot of it is definition based though. So if you need a note card, you know where to find them because you are going to have to memorize these definitions. Okay, so let's read what this page says first. Have you ever wondered how do news broadcasters ever come up with the information like approval ratings for the President of the United States? Better yet, how do they figure out the average number of text message a person sends or receives in a month based on their age? When the population is too large, a researcher would like to get a sample that is a suitable representation to the population. They're not going to sample the whole population. Like, you can't sample all of America. That's just not going to happen. So they have to come up with strategic ways to choose the sample. And if they do it in a biased way, then we know that the results are a little bit biased. Okay. So a sample is a part of the entire population. The class you are sitting in right now is a sample of your high school. More than likely, however, the classroom you sit in right now is probably not a good representation of your high school. So like if I was to survey, I don't know, if kids think, I don't know, because you probably all think school lunches are bad. So if I was to survey, okay, do you think math 3 is hard? Okay, that's my question. And I survey this class. Am I going to get an accurate representation of the entire high school? No. It's going to be biased. Why? Because you're actually in math 3. So like if I ask freshmen, is math 3 hard? Are they going to be able to answer that question? No, they're not. Okay. So when you have a sample that favors a particular part of the population, then it is considered bias. The goal is to gather a fair sample that represents the entire population. So what type of study to use? Before we go out and collect data, we must first focus on what we want to collect. There are various types of studies when we collect data. Some are simpler to conduct than others. However, the main focus for any method is to reduce the effects of any bias in the study. We do not want our results to be biased because then our study is not legit. So in Math 3, there are 3 types of studies. And why isn't it going? Okay. We have observation. We have experimental, which is control versus non-control. And we have survey. So get ready to write because you got some definitions. Observation is when individuals are observed or certain outcomes are measured. There is no attempt to affect the outcome. Or in other words, no treatment given. Okay, so I need you to write this down. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to write it down. Hopefully that's enough time. Okay, the important part to know for observation, there has been no treatment given. So maybe like underline that or highlight it. Okay, what is an experiment? Well, that's when we divide the sample into 2 groups, the control group and the non-control group. We impose a treatment to one group but not the other. Compare the effects between the 2 groups. Okay? And then, oh, I got to give you time to write it down, huh? Sorry. Okay, so important thing to notice about the experimental study, a treatment has been imposed. So one group gets like the pill and the other one does not. It gets like the placebo, it's like the sugar pill or whatever, and then you measure to see what happened. But it's important to know that the people don't know if they're what group they're in. They don't know if they're in the control group. They don't know if they're in the non-control group. That's important too. Survey. You just ask members of the sample a set of questions. Okay, so let's say like observation. I'm going to give you examples. Observation, I want to know how many Clovis East students drive red cars. How would I observe that? Well, I would go and I would look at the parking lot and I would count the red cars, right? Okay. Survey, I could send out a text message and ask the senior body or the juniors, who drives a red car, and it would be whether or not they answered my question. Okay. And then we wouldn't be able to do experimental study for that, because we wouldn't be able to impose a treatment on just wanting to know how many red cars Clovis East kids have. Okay. Experimental would kind of be like, I don't know, male pattern baldness. So let's say that somebody has a cure to the pill to make guys stop going bald. Okay, so they split up the group in half. They give one half of them this pill to see if it helps their hair not fall out, and then they give the other half a sugar pill. And then, like, I don't know, 6 months later or whatever, they measure if their hair fell out or if their hair grew back or whatever. And if you could cure male pattern baldness, you'd be a very rich person. Just saying, because guys don't want to go bald. They'd spend good money on that pill. All right, what are we on now? So determine which of the above studies should be used in the given scenarios. In addition to identifying the type of study, explain why this study method would be used in the situation. Okay, so now you're looking at these scenarios and you have to decide, should it be an observation, should it be experimental, or should it be survey? This is where I need you guys to work together as a team. You're going to read the questions and you're just going to guess. Not really guess. You're just going to take a educated guess, I guess. What do you think it is? Observation? Am I just watching? Experimental? Am I imposing a treatment? Or is it a survey? Am I asking people to participate? Okay. All right. So right now the video is going to be paused. Please pause the video. And when everybody is done talking about it, play it again. Okay. And I'm going to pause it on my end so it doesn't end up being like really, really long. Please, please participate. It's very important that you don't just copy down what I'm writing because you're not going to understand. Okay? Pause the video, please. Okay, so hopefully you guys paused the video and actually listened and you already have some answers, and now you just need to double check if what your group was thinking is correct. Okay, so a few geologists from the university located in California would like to determine the time gaps between major droughts of the West that the West Coast has experienced. All right, so let's go through the list. Could it be observation? Maybe. Could it be experimental? Was there a treatment imposed? No. Can't be experimental. Could it be a survey? Are you going to ask California if you're going to rate? No, you're not. So what does it have to be? It has to be observation. Okay, cool. All right, the second one. The senior class at a local high school is deciding upon which of the 3 possible speeches is going to be delivered at their graduation. So let's think about it. Do we observe speeches? Not really. I mean, that's not like just counting the red cars. Is there a treatment imposed? No. So it's not experimental. So it has to be. Oh, I didn't even notice this popped up. My bad. It's survey, right? So you might give out the 3 speeches, have people listen to them, and then decide. Maybe have the principal listen to them, and they decide who's going to speak at the graduation. Okay. A major lawn care company is attempting to develop a new fertilizer that promotes a certain type of lawn to grow healthy and at an accelerated rate. Okay, so I would probably, is that a treatment? Yeah, because I'm going to give this grass this new fertilizer, and I'm going to give the other grass no fertilizer, and I'm going to see which one grows better, right? So that is experimental. Okay, and then for D, an international bike company has developed a new way to weave carbon fibers to make their bike frame stronger and lighter. The bike company already has the strongest and lightest bike frame on the market. Okay, so sometimes they're a little confusing, and you kind of want to do process of elimination. Well, this is not survey. It's not observational. I would say it's experimental, because you're going to use the new carbon fiber to see if it makes the frame stronger. So you are imposing a treatment. All right, Gallup poll is interested in the percentage of people that are going to vote in the next presidential election. How do you think they would get those numbers? They would just ask. They'd be like, hey, are you going to vote? And then what would that be called? Survey. Okay, so how did your group do? If you got it wrong, don't mark it wrong. Just write down the answers and the reason that it's the answer. Okay, so like for experimental, a treatment was imposed. The fertilizer is the treatment. Here, the carbon fiber is the treatment. Survey, you're just going to ask people which speech they like better. Okay, observation, we're just going to observe how much rainfall happened. Okay, all right, moving on. Sampling methods, more definitions. Your hand hurt yet? Okay, so there are 5 different sampling methods in Math 3 statistics. The first one is called stratified. So this is where we divide the population into smaller groups called strata based off characteristics, and then select random groups from the strata. I'll give you 30 seconds to write that down. So this one would be like, let's say, okay, I want to know if you guys think the cafeteria food is gross. Okay, so I could divide you guys into groups, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, and then I could select some people from the freshman class, select some people from the sophomore class, select some people from the junior class and the senior class, and then I could just ask them, and that would be a pretty good representation of what Clovis East kids think about the cafeteria food. Systematic. Order the population, then select the nth person. So maybe I ordered you guys by alphabet, like the alphabetical order. And then I'm going to select every 5th person. So I'm going to put you in alphabetical order, and then I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I want your opinion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want your opinion. And I'm going to select every 5th person to be part of my sample. That is a systematic way to obtain a sample. Is there bias in that? Yeah, probably a little bit. Okay, simple random sample. It's very important that all members of the group are equally likely to be chosen. So that would be like putting all your names in a hat and drawing out like 10 of you. So everybody, everybody has one entry, so only one of your names. I don't have like Josh in there 2 times or whatever. Everybody has the same opportunity because your name's only been put in there 1 time, and everybody has the same chance of being chosen. That would be a simple random sample. You could also use computer software, like a random number generator or whatever, or random groups. But I don't know, honestly, I don't know if the computer is technically random. I don't know. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. Self-selected. That is when people volunteer for the sample. Okay, so that would be like, I don't know, you're sitting out there and you want to know if people prefer Pepsi over Coke. Okay, and so everybody that walks by you say, hey, can I ask you a question? If they tell you no, then you have to be like, okay, whatever. So they have to be willing to participate in your study. Okay, so that's self-selected. Convenience. You select the ones that are convenient. So the members are readily available. So this would be kind of like, I don't know, putting it out on Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Hey, do you guys if you like, you could do the Pepsi or Coke thing. Do you prefer Pepsi or Coke? And anybody that answers, and it was convenient for you because it was easy. You could also, like, convenience would also be like, I'm going to just text my friends, or I'm going to just text my family, or, hey, I'm at a family barbecue. I'm just going to ask these people. That would totally be convenient. That is probably, in my opinion, the most biased sampling method because you're not really caring too much about where that sample came from. You're just asking whoever's close to you. Okay? All right. Here's scenarios that we want to know when would these sampling methods be appropriate. Okay? Again, I'm going to pause the video. You guys are going to read through these, and then when you are done, you are going to unpause the video. Okay? So right now, get off your phone and pay attention, and pause the video, talk to each other, write down what you're thinking. When the whole class is ready to move on, please press play. Okay? Okay. All right. Hopefully you guys actually listened and you have answers and you're not just going to copy mine. Let's talk about it. John was walking through campus and asked people to volunteer themselves to be part of his research. He did his best to make sure the number of students he selected from the freshman class was equal to the other classes. There is a key word here. What is it? Volunteer. And if people volunteer to participate, what is it called? Self-selected. Okay? So looking at example B, Frito-Lay makes a product called Doritos, which is produced in a factory. The quality inspector for the factory would like to collect a few of the bags produced in the factory to see if the weight of the bags meets the specified amount acceptable by Frito-Lay. They ain't trying to sell you more. They want it exact or less. The inspector took the next 50 bags on the conveyor belt to inspect. He just grabbed 50 bags. Careful with this one. Is this systematic? Did he choose every 5th bag or every 4th bag? No. So it's not systematic, but I know if you wrote that, I understand, because I probably would have done the same thing. No, he's just watching these bags go down the conveyor belt, and he's like, well, I'm going to just take these 50. That was convenient, right? So that is the convenient sampling method. Okay, example C, Raul obtained an alphabetical list of everyone in his school. He then numbered them from 1A to XXZ. So he put them in alphabetical order. He then got a list of random digits and used the list to obtain his sample. What do you think that is? This one's kind of hard. Simple random sample. Okay, so the key word here was the random part. Okay, so he used a computer he got a list of random digits. Yeah. So I don't know where he got this list from. I'm assuming a computer generator randomly. And then he's like, okay, well, it told me 5, 7, 12, 3, 4. Those are the people he chose out of the group. Okay. Careful, because it kind of seemed like if we put them in alphabetical order, it could be systematic. But again, he didn't choose every 5th person or every 7th person. So it's not systematic. Okay. So to me, in my brain, sometimes it's better to go through process of elimination and say what it's not, what it could not be, and then whatever's left over at the end, I know that's what it is. All right, D, Maureen, I think that's how you say this person's name. Maureen divided her school up into 4 groups, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. She listed everyone in each class and numbered them. After that, she randomly selected students from each class using computer software, then selected students represented at the school. What's the key word here? Groups. She separated the sample or the population into 4 groups. Which method is that? Stratified. Okay, and then a math teacher wanted to select a sample of students based upon 2 periods of Math 3 classes. The instructor numbered each student, starting with 1, ending with 70. The teacher then decided to take every 10th person wherever he or she started. The teacher used a calculator to randomly select the value 45. At that point, the teacher counted down the list of students to the 10th person. That 10th person got added to it should say got. I don't know what happened to the T. Got added to the sample. So what is that? What's the key word? Every 10th person. So that is systematic. Okay? All right, so if your head's spinning, I completely understand because I'm not a big fan of stats either. I'm sorry. These are just, if I were you, I would totally get a note card and write the definitions for the sampling methods and for the studies, because that's the important part. And this is what you're also going to need on your homework. Okay? All right, so yeah, welcome to stats. Hope you're having fun and miss you guys. See you soon.